So welcome everybody to the Gno.land Developer Weekly, the contributor edition for the 13th of March 2024. I will share my screen. You guys have the agenda. I think there's a little bit of audio issue. I'm not sure if anyone else hears that though. Nope.
Looks good to me.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, so this week we've got OnBlock up first with updates and any questions or support they need from the team. So I'll hand it over to you guys to run through this.
All right, so starting off, we have some updates to the JSON parser PR. Byungjin, could you share with us the updates or the summary of the updates?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Yep.
Okay, good. So the previous JSON was involves the parsing byte slice and properly putting into the struct in processing it, but it caused several issues and have so many side effects. So I completely rewrite them from scratch. So instead of direct parsing, I used the state machine to process the data by transitioning to the next state whenever a certain state has detected. I also modified it to store the process JSON structure and form in node type. This approach has significantly reduced the amount of parsing code compared to the before approach. So, what was it? So, going forward, I need to add method to retrieve the values of specific node types like JSON parsers get boolean things, and need to increase the test coverage as much as possible. Current coverage has 8% for now. However, the former one, the Boolean getting multiple type getter functions. When I try to handle it using recursive function or DFS, in Gno cause stack overflow, causing a stack overflow, but this works fine when it runs in Go. So I'm still investigating in the issue. Also added it to the Gnosam repo and plan to continue working on replacing the previously injected encoding JSON things. And the last, I added the isolated algorithm to replace the string converted parse float, and also added new algorithm to convert float 64 to string types. I think it would be good to use this after extracting them from JSON, implementing them as string converters each methods. Thank you. That's all.
All right, thank you for that. And for our next update, the Unicode / UTF-16 package was originally added to the JSON PR to handle strings, but turns out we actually don't need it, so we actually separated it and submitted as a separate PR. And this week we also specified the scope of what to be added in the next version of Adena, and the upcoming features will be the NF faucet, which will be integrated with the Gno.land faucet hub, and a pop window, which will allow you to take full control of your screen, and a network label, which will serve as an indicator that shows you which network you're on right now. Shout out to Leon for suggesting this feature on our GitHub repository. And we also uploaded a user guide for the air gap feature that we added in our previous patch. So be sure to check this out if you're not experienced with air gap signing. And as for Gno swap, we have integrated uint256 and int256 for handling large numbers without big int. And we will be submitting these packages in the Gno repo as PRs. And we've also integrated the JSON package, as you can see. And as always, you can follow our full update in the link below, which will point you to the our builder journey. And yep, I think that's it for this week. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. I guess, are there any questions from blockers, questions, anything that needs to be covered here from the team?
Go ahead, Morgan.
I didn't quite understand if Jun, if you had any specific questions or blocker from us, but please feel to ask ahead if you do. Then one thing I sort of wanted to point out, I don't know if this was talked about already. Maybe it has, like last week or 3 weeks ago. Gillum started work on a sort of on a sort of service. Well, he started working to change the way that data is passed on RPC. So instead of being like the string format, the weird format we currently have, to instead being JSON. So this is something which would probably cover most of the use cases where you would need to do JSON marshalling. So instead of doing JSON, the long-term solution for Gno.land is that instead of doing JSON marshalling within the code, this is actually handled by the RPC layer. So that the implication of this is that you don't need to have a realm call, which is only for sort of the end users, and a realm call, which is used to pass data within realms. They can all use the same functions, and you'll either get the value as a Go value or as a JSON encoded value if you are an Ender RPC client. I just wanted to put this out here because I don't remember if Gillum had actually demoed or talked about this yet. Just say something.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. But we need to discuss how, because I'm scared it will be kind of confused. I don't know how, maybe to flag this as experimental. Sorry. I talk a little bit with Manfred.
Mm-hmm.
I have this aside. I need to open a PR actually, so we can discuss about it.
So yeah, while I will take a look at the sort of JSON implementation, and if this helps you work, you should definitely have it. I just wanted to put it out there that there is a sort of better long-term solution on the horizon. Jun, did you have any specific questions for me? For us, yeah.
Where? Oh, no, I don't have any question for now. Thank you.
Okay, because I sort of heard at one point something which sounded like it, but anyway, never mind. I'd say,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Yes, Jeff.
I'll just I'll agree with Morgan. In the GNO social code, we have two flavors of every function. One is for internal use, and one is for RPC that returns JSON. So very welcome to see that coming along. That's it.
Okay. If there aren't any more questions, it's like Manfred.
So you have new packages, uint and int256. Do you have a preview of your code somewhere? Do you have a deployment like the equivalent of Portal Loop or what Bertie is doing with gno.bertie.tech? Do you have your own testnet with all your unpublished packages?
Yeah, we have private testnet that we're using for developing GNOSwap.
And how are you managing it? Is it a Gno.land node and a Gno web that you run manually?
Pardon me?
Is it a Gno.land instance and a Gno web instance that you run manually? Or are you using Gno dev or something else?
The former.
Okay. Yeah, in general, I think we should start improving the way people like Dragos with Flipando, Bertie with Gno Social, you with your GNOSwap, etc. But basically, you can expose your work without depending on the main repo to merge anything. So you are not limited by the core team, and developing on your GitHub organization makes sense. So let's discuss this later. But in practice, if you can share how you are managing your infrastructure on GitHub issue or whatever, I'm interested to know more. Thanks.
Okay. Any other points here? If not, looks like I will hand the reins over to Jeff for a no social demo.
Great. Yeah. Speaking of our live node, Yuri, are you prepared to share screen and show something? Is he
Yeah,
here?
I can share here.
Okay. Yeah, this does hook into our demo testnet. It's running GNOdev, which is really nice because when we add new functions, we just do a git pull on the server and they suddenly appear. Very nice.
Yeah, we have this open pull request here where we are trying to add a list user by prefix into the user's dem realm. And instead of waiting to be merged, we just copy paste them inside our dev environment. And what we have right now is a search functionality that works very well. But the main question for today is if you guys know, okay, it works for a search by prefix, but if I want to search for in the middle of the string, I mean, if I want to search for, I want to detect if the string contains any character similar to this. Is it possible? Please.
Let me just add one tiny bit of context, which is this is searching the AVL tree keys, where we have all our users stored by name, and we're using the existing iterate function of the AVL tree, which allows you to have a begin and end to the search, which turns out to be the same as search by prefix. So what Yuri is saying is the AVL tree could potentially have thousands of keys, and would there be a path towards efficiently searching those keys without having to just dump all keys into a string array and then do the usual thing with a raw string array? I guess this would be yeah, Morgan is now tuning into what we're asking him for. Anything more than a empathy laugh for that idea?
Oh, sorry. I had my Michael. I had my microphone on. I was looking at something else. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, so
That was not an empathy laugh. That was a distraction laugh. Sorry.
okay. Should we repeat the question?
I can give my opinion on this. I think
Yeah.
AVL3 should stay simple. Having like research by prefix makes sense because it's the way the map system is working. The tree transversal is working with such prefix, so it's okay to have search helper. But for additional helpers, like looking for a pattern in the middle or at the end, I don't think we should make AVL3 more complex. but it could be interesting to have some not overly packaged, but other packages that can either create an additional AVL tree or maybe use I don't know, another system to compute additional indexes. And finally, at some point, if you want performance without losing gas for bad reason, I think it's a very good use case for your oracles, where the blockchain is responsible to give you the truth and to verify information, while an external service that you cannot trust fully can basically give you a hint on you are looking for this, check out this content, and then you can check the content on blockchain. So using such indexer and external oracle and external indexer won't prevent having some censorship in terms of hiding some results, but in practice the result is still on the blockchain, and anyone with direct access can still access. So I think it's something we can accept. We can accept having the source of data on the blockchain. We're having something with less trust. Less trust about searching with external services. But in general, AVL tree should not be complex, but maybe we can find something smart. For instance, if you wanted to check for the suffix, maybe you can create a second AVL tree with just the string reverse and the same pointers. So writing some AVL helpers could make sense and could be relatively cheap. But in your case, if you really want a full text search system, I think we should go directly with external services while relying on the blockchain to verify that the external service provides the good information.
Okay, that sounds reasonable. We can, maybe in short term, we can emulate it by doing the inefficient thing, which is just dumping all the keys to a string array, with a couple dozen names. That's okay, but it's actually a good segue into the next question. Michelle, I don't know if you want to.
Maybe the last thing, maybe one of the exploration that Bertie can do regarding GNU Social and GNU Native Kit is something that will basically try to use external services if they're available and while they are fast and cheap, while still having a fallback option, or maybe not a fallback, just an option you always call to return the blockchain value. So let's say you are searching for ABC. You can maybe first look for your local storage, then make two requests, one on the external service that you can maybe not trust fully, and one on the blockchain with a less performance search system. So yeah, maybe an expression you can do later, definitely not a priority, is to have a hybrid multi-source system with local storage, external services, and the blockchain, where you combine everything at the end with a optimistic UI.
Okay, that makes sense.
But definitely not a priority for everyone here, because I think it could be interesting if you want to be even more. Yeah, the ecosystem providing the most decentralized apps that run on mobile with good UI. Probably it's a direction where we should go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a segue into the next question, which also is about an indexer. It says follow up to pull request 546 added the kind of back end need for that to store the data with the idea that there would be a future service for notifications. And our immediate need for this is so that when we do keep a local cache, we would want to somehow set up a notification on an AVL tree or something so that we get an alert when something changes. The thing where, and so we would use a subscription to notification of some kind. So just curious if there is update on that service.
So, well, I guess Milos can comment further, but I just wanted to point out that we are currently adding this feature that I just linked to the transaction indexer. And the GraphQL server that I linked will also allow you to subscribe to any new block or transactions being added to the chain. And possibly, yeah, with also filtering capabilities. I don't remember exactly the specifics, but it may be doing what you want it to.
Yeah, the use case is like the user, our demo users is a map between a username and an address. And we might cache that kind of information, or the future profile thing, which maybe for an address, you could have a picture or something. And again, we want to cache this locally. The use case is to find out if some structure in some realm, maybe for a particular key, had a change or something. Or you know, a way to say, hey, you need to resync your local cache. Yeah.
So yeah, I think this exact this exact thing is probably not possible right now, even with this PR. But I'm sure like we can add like after we do this like filtering capability on the to sort of get to sort of subscribe to a specific value updating. I mean, possibly like first thing is to subscribe to changes happening within a specific realm. So whenever a realm,
you get an alert when a particular function is called, right? If there's one function which changes the state of the AVL tree or three, then we could get alerted when someone called that function with some value, and if you know, like with some user address, and we just check whether we're caching that, and if so, we would refetch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you like that. That's definitely something which could be added as a filter. I see Antonio has commented and invited you to hop on a discussion with him. But yeah, I totally think this makes sense for the indexer. Antonio, if you want to add any comments, or Milos.
Yeah, right now the indexer is totally ignorant about the content of the transaction. So the first thing that we have to implement is like parsing the content of the transaction itself. And after that, maybe depending if it's a change on a realm or something like that, we can do something to check the change that we did on the realm, but I'm not sure how we can do that. So yeah, we have to do like a deeper look into it, see how to properly do it.
Okay, Manfred.
Yeah, the goal is to implement the emit function and then to use it as a filter. The goal is to never try to understand what happened. Maybe you can filter per realm that was called, maybe by method name, but that's all. You should not try to guess. For instance, right now, the GNOScan website by Unblock is managing VRC20 transfers, but it's doing it by looking at direct call to realms. In practice, if I create my own realm or if I make a run function that imports foo20, we won't see it. So the good way to basically filter on something typed and that will not only be based on regex or whatever, is to have emit function and to subscribe to type safe emit event emissions. So what made Milosh plus filters plus emit, which is another open PR or issue. And then it's up to JRC20 to implement an emit by default and to any contract that wants to provide a subscribe possibility to provide the emit. And this is actually the way I want to manage proof of contribution, by having the r/sys/vals, the validator realm, emitting a validator change only after governance approval. My goal is for the blockchain to subscribe to the blockchain on each time there is a transaction. I want to basically verify if I need to update something, which can be the configuration of the blockchain or the validator set. And for this, my goal is to not try to guess, okay, the validator set, the val set RAND was called, because it would be too expensive. I just want to subscribe on the event validator set changed. So you can have 200 calls to the val set realm, but only the one that will make the final change will trigger an event, which is very cheap. So that's why any event emission is mandatory. It improves, it provides type safety. It provides trust, because it can be emitted by any realm, including the imported one. And this is basically the way we should encourage people to make filtering, even if we support other features. And it will probably be the only way to make such dynamic filters on the upcoming Gno SDK, so that the blockchain can subscribe an event.
All sounds good. It's a forbidden question, but like within the next 2 months, do you think there'll be some kind of prototype implementation of this?
Of emit, I think we already have a PR, so it's about, I don't remember the status, but it was started. I don't know. Let's discuss this. Maybe with Nemanja, the new TPM, and Miloš and Ray, we can figure out if someone in the team could have the bandwidth to work on this. Because
maybe we could emulate it. We could just set up the Gno social realm to do something. I don't know, spit out, add something to the emit queue, and so we could imitate that behavior.
It will be hard to emit to emulate, because actually emit, it will be the first feature in the language that will use channels. And a way to emulate it is to actually not use channel first, but use std.emit something and manage a queue from the VM keeper. But basically, there is something complex about this feature, because the contract can now read a queue which can be empty or full, with an arbitrary number of elements, and same in the output. So we have so many concerns to tackle about denial of service and other things.
Okay.
But it's a complex topic that we will need to manage, not only your case, but so many cases, including IBC2, which will basically use the same system. We need some ways to have channels, input channels and output channels from contracts.
Wow.
One of them can be between the contract and the blockchain, and one of them can be between two contracts in two blockchains. So it's a complex but mandatory topic at some point.
That's really cool.
2 months, I'm skeptical. I don't think it will happen in 2 months. But,
okay, no problem. It's if you're adding channel support to the language, then that's really cool. But it'll take longer.
Right now, I suggest you to check to find the existing PR issue and to give your feedback, and maybe try to use. Maybe what we can do is to make the placeholder for the upcoming call, which can probably be std.emit. So we can make an std.emit that won't make the full loop. Maybe it will be, I don't know, in a working branch supporting only a single event, which will be easier to manage. Okay. And then you can basically start using it, because the API is right now looks good. The API looks good. What doesn't look good is the implementation, because it doesn't work.
Okay, we can dive into that on Friday, if we're meeting on Friday, and save some time here. That sounds great. Well, as usual, Michelle, you need to cut us off. The last two things are really short. One is, Morgan did a deep dive into this. It's a bug that happens if the render function is taking too long. And I think it wants to say CPU cycle overrun, but then something happens and it needs to dump its brains. And the AVL tree is a specific, an especially complex data structure, and it just takes for frickin' ever to dump its brains. And to us, it looks like it's hung. The simple question is there some way to start the node or just disable dumping its brains? Because this is also a problem in Gno.dev. When I the way it hot loads, if there's a bug, I just want to see the syntax error, right? I don't want Gno.dev to dump 20 pages of its brains. So maybe it would be the same solution, a way to just not dump brains. What do you think?
So, because this also sort of tackles in the fact that the Gno VM is its own compartment compared to the Gno.land node. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think the solution here is that we should have a way to dump stack the machine from the Gno VM without having the risk of it taking more than 100 milliseconds, and or like in this case more than 2 days. So yeah, I think like the solution here is to sort of fix up that sort of the way we print the state of the machine. If you want for now, like to have to sort of not if you encounter repeatedly this hung VM problem, you can apply the patch that I posted on the issue. I think what we'll implement is likely just making the string representation not exceed the page of information.
Okay, I haven't tried the patch yet, so I will try that. Thanks for pointing that out. And then the last thing, we don't have to take any time, but Michelle posted the short intro video that we made to Gno Native Kit, so you all can watch that on your own time if you want. That's it.
Is there any other questions from the team, from other folks for Birdie?
Just a consideration. So you talked that you were considering using JSON for gRPC, but I also believe that you think about the error message on gRPC, that you think about a standard partner way to throw error and to display traffic error message on also JSON format, right? We have an issue on Gno.native to improve the error message from the Gno to Gno.native.
Yeah, I think the way it probably might work is that the value that is panicked is also printed in the same format, is also returned in the same format, so that would also be JSON. Yes.
Interesting. That might work, because we know that in Gno we want to panic instead of return error messages. So yeah. Cool.
Anything else? Okay, so let's move on to Dragos with the Zentastic and Flipando updates. Oh, yeah, maybe actually for context, Dragos, because it's been a while and we're finally finalizing the grant.
Okay, thanks for that. So as of now, there will be 2 projects that I'm going to provide updates on. As Michelle said, we are finalizing the grant on Zentastic. Zentastic contains 6 products, 6 repos, and I already initialized all the repos. As you can see, for anyone who wants to follow the work, they can subscribe to, they can watch and they can have updates. I'm currently working on Zentastic Core. The whole grant will have 3 different GNO implementations on top of the Zentastic framework, and UIs, web UIs, and mobile UIs using React Native for each of these 3. Moving forward to Flipando, I have 2 updates. One of them about the dynamic playground redesigned with all the front end and back end checks added. If I could briefly show you what it's all about, if I can share. So let me show you this. Can you guys see my screen? Yes, apparently yes.
Yep.
So there is a feature which I think wasn't very transparent at the beginning. The size of the canvas where you actually create art using matrices is dynamic, and it's depending on the total number of the existing NFTs, locked NFTs made by other players. In other words, if there are like 50, at least 50 available NFTs minted by any other people, the playground size, the canvas size would be 2 by 2. If we go over a certain threshold, this square there will increase to 3 by 3. And we put this placeholder here so everybody knows, so the player will know that the maximum size for the canvas is 8 by 8. Why would people want to use bigger and bigger canvases? My theory is that the more squares you have, the more resolution you can add to your image, and you can create complex images, which allegedly will be more expensive. So although we have all the square, the potential canvas displayed, only the middle one work, only the one that is enabled by the number of the basic NFT in existence. In the future, this level as well could be also made dynamic. We just start with hard-coded levels from 50 to 1,000 NFTs, just to see how people will react to this. What would be the actual behavior, and so on and so forth. So all this is done, and it proves to be a little bit more complex than I thought, but it's working. Moving forward to the next update, there is I added a flip token to the Gno registry for the Adina wallet. So now theoretically, flip token, the fungible token minted by Flipando, it's available in Adina pending, of course, deployment of the Flipando Real on a public testnet, which gives me which leads me to one of the questions that I have. But before that, I just want to share that I received from Michael a few days ago a growth simulation dashboard. It's basically a tiny little Python script which shows some NFT and player behavior. I will start working on this, and I will start model some of the user and ecosystem potential developments based on that work. This is some of the work that I've been talking to Michael for a while. And now about the question. I have a question for the territory team. If I'm not wrong, they developed something related to reliable randomness. I looked over the code, and I understand that we need some data feeders, and these data feeders will be then added by an administrator, and that administrator can actually choose what happened. So that's the first part of the question. Are these data feeders like, I don't know, external feeders like meteorological data, which is impossible to predict, or other stuff like Avalanche is doing? And is there a standard response time for a call? Like if I want to generate a random seed in 2 seconds using this module, is something feasible? If someone can answer to that later on, that would be also nice. And the last question is there anyone wanting to answer?
Yep, the guy who wrote that is not there today, but I will make sure that he contacts you and answer your questions.
Okay, thanks so much. Thanks so much. And the last question is about the upgradable package question. I follow up in the Gno core dev team meetings, and I think I saw we found something, some way, some standard way to upgrade packages. And my specific question related to this: if I redeploy a GRC20 related realm under a different name, which is the upgraded name, do I need to re-add the token to the Gno registry for the Adena wallet specifically? There is an entry in the JSON, that JSON object that I want to complete for the token to be added to the Adena wallet, which relates to the realm address or the realm name. So if I upgrade my realm, my GRC20 realm, I need to also re-add the token to the registry. If anyone from Adena can answer now, that would be great. If not, for later, that would also be good.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
The question is, when I'm adding a GRC20 token to JSON, I already added one and the PR was merged. Thank you. But if I upgrade my realm, allegedly it will have a different address, different name, like Flipando.101 or Flipando.102 or whatever the actual upgrade mechanism will be implemented. Do I need to add this to the JSON and make a new PR?
Yeah, from the way it's set up right now, you'll have to submit a new PR.
Okay, I was thinking about it. Thank you. And just a last kind of overview where we are related to the roadmap. March milestone is pretty much done. If anyone is curious, you can relate to the flipando.xyz roadmap, which is published. So March milestone is only pending on VRF and upgradable package implementation. The moment I have some real data on this and I see if I can implement this, this will be marking the March roadmap as done. So that was me. Thank you. If there are any questions from anyone, feel free to. Okay, thank you guys. I think that the next one should be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next one is from the meta team. So today we will update for status for the Unity SDK, and let me share my screen. In the last meeting, we can create a account and store it, and making the arrow for the new REST. And today we are making a new feature is interactive with the smart contract RAM in the Gno, and we are making some simple demo with micro block. Yeah. And we can see on the icon block. Yeah. It means right now the Unity SDK has most of basic functions can make any game can work with Gno with from the wallet, from the interact with the smart contract, and like interact with NFC or make create the collection, mint the NFT, or create the token, transfer the token. So after this week, we will pending the Unity SDK and focus on the integration our game with the Unity SDK and focus more on the account abstraction to define the clearly the future and the best solution we can apply for the Gno. Because the account pending the solution is too long, and we think we should focus on it for the DeFi clearly the solution. Right now we have two options to apply the account abstraction for the Gno, but we not decide we can do in the next.
I didn't know if you guys wanted to also address the account sessions issue.
We had I'm making another issue for it. Discuss about the ERC for 337.
Do you have the link?
Yeah, let me put the link on chat. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, this is the one.
Yeah, we are so summary future and how to the account option working on the Ethereum, and explain more about our solution on the smart contract. Actually, the Ethereum and Gno VM different. So right now we cannot define decide the ERC for 337 can apply on Gno or not.
Okay, so the request, I will add this here to the notes to maybe get some eyeballs on it from the team. Okay.
Yep.
Then in the last few minutes, Territory, do you want to give an update?
Yeah, sure. I think we can do it quickly because there's only a few points. Norman is here, so maybe you want to sum up, bro?
Yep. So we started deploying our ecosystem on the Portal Loop. We already deployed the social feed, DAO SDK, and moderation DAO. I found weird behavior. I'm not sure if it's only in the Gno.land command or actually when we deploy contracts, but in the init function of a realm, when it calls another realm, the prev realm is not populated properly, I think. So let's say I have a realm A that calls B in its init function. In the context of B, prev realm is not A. The Gno.land command reports as this weird behavior, and I can test more and open a formal issue later, but I just wanted to talk about that a bit. Maybe it's intended, I don't know.
I'd say very little of program, weird program stuff is probably intended. So yes, please open an issue and we'll take a look.
Sure. And we started deploying the project manager to Portal Loop. It's not done yet because it was a little bit trickier than the rest. And
maybe
I
just
think
a
that's all.
second on it. Maybe Norman, we will need more tokens. I don't know if you.
Oh yeah, because just deploying the first few contracts, well, it was like 7, no, maybe 10 packages or something. I got like 250 Gno from Leon, I think, or something, and now I only have 50, and I'm afraid I won't have enough to deploy the rest of the contracts and test and interact with the Portal Loop.
Yeah, well, if you do need any more funds, we have some more funds. You can ask me. I'll figure something out, and then hopefully soon we get the Faucet Hub up during next week. I hope that'd be great.
Great, thanks. Oh, and regarding the faucet, on our UI, we have to help with onboarding test users. We have when we had our network, we had a button to request coins. Do you think we will be able to have the same UI on Portal Loop, or we have to go through some specific UI for the faucet?
I don't know if Milos is here, but the idea with the Faucet Hub is to be able to integrate your own network as well. So we're having a standardization of like how the faucet will work. So you can just submit APR to the Faucet Hub, and then just literally just add your config, and then like the faucet for your specific test will be added, hopefully. But if that's not the case, then I think you'll be able to do the same thing that you're doing right now. So yeah.
No, I was on because we don't our network, we will drop support for it very soon when we have moved everything on the Portal Loop. So I was wondering about is the new faucet some kind of API we can call and have our own UI embedded in our UI? Or
oh yeah,
we have
definitely,
to, like...
definitely. Yeah, it is.
Okay, nice. Thanks.
You can, if you want, you can take a look at the faucet and how the faucet works. It's literally under Gno.land / that's the faucet that we're going to be using for all of the networks that we implement. So
cool. And I think that's all for us.
Yeah, the last point, right? Stay tuned, everybody, because some of you will be part of the review process for Territory's new grant. Linked here. We're starting reviews in a new batch, so this will be coming. Okay, we're at the time. I don't know. There are some other folks on the call. We have like some of the students that are joining us. But if anyone has any comments, questions in the last like 2 minutes. Once, twice? Nope. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And we'll see you next week for the core edition. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.